today's session is we are getting into the details. We are getting into the intricacies of the portrait. So we've covered the basic facial features. We covered the eyes, we covered the nose, lips, ears. I hope the journey has been smooth for you. And the next one we will go on. We have reached the hair. So a lot of portraits, the thing about the beauty about hair is that once you get the outline, once you're ready to draw the outline, and if you can just draw the hair and the facial hair, you can represent portraits with just this. I mean, that's a particular kind of drawing as well. You can just represent portraits without even, if you just draw face and eyes, then it will look weird. If you just draw eyes and nose, it will look like an alien. If you just draw eyes and lips, people wouldn't even know what the hell is going on. Imagine a face and just ears. It will look like a weird ad. But just the facial structure and the hair, you get the person. So that's the beautiful thing about the hair. Hair adorns the face. It's like an adornment. And it's an adornment. And it's probably the one part of our face, like we can keep adjusting, making it fashionable, and do whatever we want with it without hurting ourselves. So, I mean, we can't just carve out our noses. We can't just carve out our intestines or anything, ears and anything, and shape it and place it in whatever ways we want. But with the hair alone, it's possible. So today we will get into the intricacies of the hair. One of the first things, one of the basic myths to drawing hair. Let me break it down for you. One of the basic myths to drawing hair is that we tend to draw it strand by strand by strand. So this is going to be the biggest block. If you ever attempted drawing hair, has anyone of you attempted drawing hair before? Tell me your experience if you have attempted drawing hair before. Emma, you must have tried drawing some hair before. Tell me about that.
I've not tried, Niranjan.
You never tried? Oh, this is your very first time. Fresh.
Portraits never.
Okay. Portrait never. Hey, I was expecting more practice exercises from you. What happened?
I'm doing it in my book. I'm not uploading, Niranjan.
You're not able to upload. What's the matter?
Not able to upload it. I didn't try also. But I'm practicing.
Yeah, I mean, do watch the feedbacks though I've placed on shared on others' videos as well. Rosina has done pretty good work with a lot of portraits, and I hope you've been able to see the feedback that I've shared on to her. It's pretty detailed. Some feedbacks are as long as 8 to 10 minutes long on one single drawing. So look into it and you will be able to learn a lot. Okay.
Yeah.
Try it out. And so one of the biggest myths, one of the biggest troubles, has Tanvi might have attempted drawing hair, at least in your self-portrait you tried drawing hair. How did that come out for you? How did that come out for you? Your experience drawing hair.
Nobody is working on their self-portraits from day one, the one you had made them do. Please, guys, you're drawing everyone, everything in the world. Tanvi, remember what you had drawn on that first day, that cartoon face. Now it's not working.
No, I'm rooting for them. After this school, they're all programmed, they're all going to draw self. Make sure
but it was supposed to be progressive. No, every day go back and work on one part. At least today, start from today. Draw your hair. All of you.
Right. It was supposed to be progressive, but at least you can have a before and after if you attempt self-portrait, if you attempted your self-portrait before. Now, see, the biggest thing that happens when you try drawing hair is that we tend to draw hair strand by strand. So what happens when you draw strand by strand is we are not able to get a coherent pattern of it. Because we draw strand by strand, we look at the smaller things and we ignore the big picture. I always tell you, see, whatever you're drawing, a lot of you ask me how I break down big drawings. This is how I always look at it. It's a certain principle that I follow for everything that I teach. I look at the largest form and then I break it down into smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller visible particles. The same approach that I would tell you for drawing hair as well. When you draw hair, you should never attempt it strand by strand. I will draw and explain to you. You are never going to attempt it strand by strand, hair by hair. Rather, you are going to attempt and draw it as a piece, as a whole. Each one of us has a different hair shape. For example, some people have wavy hair. Some people have Kurt Cobain, for instance, has a very straight hair. Some people have Shakira, curly hair. So mess of curls it is. Now these are the three most common hair shapes, and these are the three biggest practices that we're going to work with. A lot of people have different combinations of this. Combinations, different degrees of curliness, different degrees of curvature, so different degrees of how straight it is, and then it's length. Okay, so what you're going to have to do when you're drawing hair is you are going to look at the shape of the hair and then shade it. Shade these pieces as if it were something that onto which light and shadow falls. Onto which light and shadow falls. Okay, so in that way, and then slowly as we progress, we will be working on the strands. Never in this way, you'll be able to draw the hair as a coherent whole with its flow, rather than having to getting lost in the details. The three most important things when you have to look at when you're drawing hair is the form, the shape, straight, wavy, curly. You can write these down, no problem. Straight, wavy, curly. Then the second thing that you're going to have to look at when you're drawing hair is its flow. How does the hair flow? Okay, how does it flow into it according to this form? Third thing is, of course, the light and shade. It's only towards the end that we add the finer strands in the details. All right. So now that we have this basic information, let's understand it further. Let's practice it. So I have shared three images with you. You can just keep them by the side. So what we are firstly going to do is let's quickly draw an outline sketch of these three. I hope that's easy for you. Let's just draw an outline sketch. We're not going to get into the details, just an outline sketch of these three. Let's do that first. So I will draw along with you. So the first drawing that we're going to be drawing is this straight hair, this woman line with the straight hair. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm drawing a quick outline sketch here, and you're not going to take more than 5-10 minutes. So firstly, let's set how big is the drawing going to be. See, in this A5 frame, in this A5 drawing, I will first set the frame. I'm going to first have to set up the frame. And then let's start with the head. Okay, the head shape here. And then of course, some part of this head comes out. So let's just draw this form here. We don't have to be very precise about it, just suggest, because our entire emphasis is going to be on the head. So we have these eyes that comes here, nose that goes here, and then you have this hair which comes here. See? Okay. So this is your start. This is your start. Let's ignore the shoulders and other aspects. So I'm drawing this outline here. So tell me, respond with yes once you're done. And I have this. So as I said, in 2 minutes, I have drawn this outline sketch here. Okay. Just the outline. Done. So respond with yes if you're ready, if you've drawn so far. And I can move on to the next. 2 minutes, no problem. Piyushi Vice. Oh yeah, Rosina joined us a little late today. We started off immediately as we rolled up. You missed out on some important information, Rosina. So let me explain it to you let me re-explain it to you. Okay. While you draw. So when we are drawing the hair, one of the biggest mistakes that I've noticed is that everyone tends to draw the hair strand by strand. But no, you can listen as you sketch, you can listen strand by strand. So instead of drawing strand by strand, the approach that we're going to take is we are going to draw the form. We're going to pay more attention to the form and then draw the hair based off the form. So we are going to place more emphasis on the form. Why? Because we can get the whole. We are looking at the hair as a whole. No matter how messy the hair is, it does follow a certain pattern. Every hair follows a certain pattern. There are three major hair patterns: straight hair, the wavy hair, and the curly hair. So this, yeah, kindly mute yourself because I can hear a lot of noise. Yeah. So the straight hair, there's a wavy hair, and as well as the curly hair. Now, when you draw this, rather than paying attention to how these individual strands go, pay attention to how the hair looks as a whole, as the form. That which is why we first started today's exercise with the basic outline for the straight hair. Just the outline. There are all these shoulders. There's a shoulder coming here. There's a sofa coming. I'm ignoring all of that. Just draw the outline. Just give me an outline of the hair with the hair. That's it. Okay. So I hope you've done so far. Hema, Pratya, Tanvi, you all drawn this. Great. Let's get on to the next one here. And you're all going to have to complete this. After the session, you're all going to have to complete this. Okay. Hair is something you will think you understood, but unless you do it, you're not going to get a hang of it. It's very easy to understand. It's very easy to understand, but of course, like anything else, this does require some practice. Now let's jump into the next one here, which is your wavy hair. You can look at that beautiful man there with the wavy hair.
Which one, Niranjan? First one or the third one?
There is a person with the, okay, I will show you. I will show you the image. The side view, the person turned to the side.
Okay, okay.
Yes, the profile view.
Okay.
Yes. See the profile view, the bearded man. So let's again draw this. How do we draw the profile view? We start with a circle. Also consider this as a practice to make quick outline. This should not be a challenge to you anymore. See, I first start with this circle. I'm just suggesting a circle here. And I'm adding this cup which goes here. So the beard overextends. In this session, we'll also cover on how to draw the beard as well. Quite some portion to talk about today. It's the same approach about the beard or the hair. This goes here. And then we have this neck which comes here. See? Make the head outside. Make it go outside. Remember, Vijita, remember the other day I had specifically pointed this out to you?
Yeah.
Yes. See? Done. So we have this. Make sure that you have shown the neck. Make sure that this is out enough. Although we drew a circle, do not stick rigidly to the circle, because if you notice, this in fact goes back beyond, because the shape of the skull is not circular. The shape of the skull comes outwards. The brain, in fact, is elongated. The brain located here is somewhat elongated. So this is how your shape of the head is. And then your hair, of course, it goes outside of this. So let's draw this wavy outline. See? Perfectly wavy. See that? What kind of hairstyle are you? What kind of hairstyle are you people? Like what you say? Comment now. Are you straight haired? Are you wavy? Are you curly? I think Hema is curly hair. Vijita is curly. Tanvi is straight. Yes. Tanvi is a straight hair, perfectly straight hair. It's like a hair straightener. Like, did you straighten it or was it like that? Straight hair. Yes. Rosina has a straight hair. I think Pratya has wavy hair, right? Slightly wavy.
Yes.
Yes. See, and regarding the ears, so in this one, let's also represent the ears. How do we show the ears? In this one, we find the center. See, in this, we find the center, and by this center, so we divide the face into 4 quadrants as we had learned. In the 4th quadrant, in between the 2nd and the 4th quadrant is where we place the ears. See, I'm quickly let's just represent the ears with this oval here. Just represent the ears with this oval here. And then this outline for this hair. Are you able to draw this outline along with me? Easy, right? So this shouldn't be challenging. Just draw this, just draw these suggestive outlines like this. Just these strokes with the aid of these strokes. And always it needs to come outside of the thing. So imagine your head and then the hair protrudes outside. Let's also suggest the beard. So you're making this kind of art. The nose, so the center, this is the center of the face. Center of the face, the nose comes here. See? Suggest this presence of this nose here. Then this here. Now this must have become easy. You'll be surprised at how easy this is. Just by drawing along with me in these sessions, you'll be surprised at how easily you're able to make these outlines, facial outlines, with confidence and with ease. Yes, are you able to draw this confidently? Yeah, done. That's it. So respond with yes once you are ready, and I can move on to the next one. Next drawing. Yes. Only Piyushi Sarkar has drawn. How about others? Yes, Pratya has drawn. How about Hema? Ready?
Done, Niranjan.
Done. Usha, of course.
Yes, Niranjan.
Yes. Usha, alternator. Tanvi, yes, ready? Great. Vijita must have completed as well.
But it looks like a cartoon.
Ah, that's okay. That's because we haven't given any definitions.
Yeah.
That's because we haven't given any definitions, right?
Mm.
Are the proportions correct?
Think so.
Think so. We'll see that towards it. The next one is the person with the curly hair. It's this beautiful bearded man. So let's draw, right. So let's draw this. Let's draw him again. So for this, let's just draw, let's go a little close up and we will just represent the part of the face. So again, setting the outline, then the outline frame, deciding on how big I want my drawing to be. I am centralizing, like fixing upon the center of my drawing. Then for getting into the drawing, I will start with consider these sessions as a practice for making quick suggestive portraits as well. So back in my formative years, while I was learning art, while I was during my exploratory phase, you listen to that story several times, how during my college times, I would bunk classes and exams and I would just go. So one of the things that I would do was I would make these quick sketches of people along the way. Like I would sit at a place, probably a beach, park or something, and make these quick sketches. So what is it, for 100, 150 rupees, I would make a sketch for a person in 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes, and I would earn that way and I would travel. So that is one of my favorite things. And I have sat for these cultural fest-like events where you just make, like you just sit and make drawings. You can try that. In fact, I mean, I am not telling you to go out, literally go out to the streets and draw that way. But with your latest practice. It's okay. I mean, just ask them to sit with you. In that intensity of the moment, you will figure out ways to how to sketch a person faster. We start with the circle, and then we consider how the radius of this, that radius we just extend it outwards. In the heat of the moment, you'll figure out ways how to sketch fast. See? Yes, have you been able to get this form? Notice a straight here, notice this, notice a square jaw. For every bearded person, we start the same fashion. We draw the person as if he did not have a beard. It is from then we build it up. Then the next line that I draw along with the center is this line for the eyes, which comes at the center, not for the circle, center for the head. I will measure it this way. Yes, then along here is where my nose line would come. It should come along here. If it is not coming along here, then you've done something wrong. Because mathematically what you learned is it's this radius that's taken here. So it should come here. And then I will take the next half of this, and this is where my lower lips are going to come. Why am I taking these measurements? Because I am going to also represent the beard as well as the mush. Okay. I'm not going to get into the eye details and all. Just draw this. He looks rather stressed with these. So I will draw this. And then let me draw the mush. This goes here. The beard can come here. I'm not getting into the lip details. The beard can come here. See, beard can slightly extend outwards. So I'm just suggesting these outlines here. This goes here. Part of this is concealed by this. And then for this, again, I'm just drawing the outline. So without much fuss, I can draw the outline. See, when I draw these curls, don't think of drawing them like this. Rather, draw them as separate arcs. Let me explain that to you again. When you want to draw a hair which goes like this, one of the common mistakes we do is we just tend to take it this way. Of course, you could, but I would not recommend when you're beginning, because to get this correct flow is not easy. Rather, I would say keep it energetic, keep it moving, and draw them as separate arcs. But of course, you want to find a way to keep them connected as well, because you don't want to show them as these broken forms. You want to find a way to draw them as separate arcs so that you can get a better grip of it. But then at the same time, you want to keep a flow of this as well. What you should not do when you're drawing this is, let's say I want to draw an arc. You can draw these. Let's say I want to draw a form which goes like this. Let's say I want to draw a form which goes like this. Okay. Well, if you can draw like this, perfectly wavy, perfectly curly hair, without any second thoughts, brilliant. Brilliant. If not, what you can do is you can find out separate arcs. See, here's one arc. Here could be another arc. And here could be another arc, or it could be two arcs. See, this is two arcs. Do you understand? This could be two arcs. So how I would draw is, I can draw it as one arc, another arc. See, this is allowed. This is allowed. What is not allowed is, let's say I want to draw this one arc here. I would not allow you to draw is, you're not going to draw like this. I pointed this out several times. Why? Because it takes away your freedom from drawing. And also, if you try drawing hair stands while inking this way, your hair is just going to look like a patched up mess. You want to get the flow. So keep this, have this flow, not just regarding hair, whatever is it that you're drawing, kindly do not draw like this. I want to draw this face here. How did we draw? We drew one continuous line, smooth line. We drew, see, smooth lines and forms. We did not draw like this. Please do not draw like this. Yes, please do not draw like this because it just takes away your joy of drawing. Like, be fearless. What are you so afraid of? I'm here. Okay, so let's continue this. Drawing this outline as well. Let's draw this here. Let's draw this here. See, I'm just drawing the outline for this. At this stage, it might look like a cartoon. That's okay because we cannot.
Niranjan, are you using any reference picture for this?
Yes, I had shared this reference image in
Oh,
the group.
sorry. I'll check.
Oh, you are not aware. Let me show you what reference image. I thought you knew what you were doing.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Niranjan.
Look at this one.
Yeah. Perfect.
But I hope what I explained was clear to you, right?
Yeah.
How far are you on this drawing? I mean, are you with me? Have you drawn so far?
Yeah.
Yes. That's good. So just drawing the collar here. And yeah, pretty good. See this curly hair. The thing about curly hair is it's imposing. So it goes way outside of this head like this. There you go. Well done. We've drawn this. Yes. So respond with yes when you have drawn so far, just these outlines. Draw them as these circles. Just draw these outlines as these circles. I hope you are able to follow this. Just draw the outlines here. Yes, Rosina has done. How about everyone? Like everyone responded just after you drawn. And we can get into the details. Even for this beard, if you notice, it's curly. So why not? I can draw these curls for this beard as well. The outline for this beard as well, I can draw it as curls. So you can all revisit your Harry Potter drawings and then reattempt the portraits again after the entire session. It's opening up a whole new avenue for you. All right, so you ready? You ready for the next? Now, you notice a curious thing about hair. We can make sense of this mess. Although it might seem chaotic in the beginning, we can make sense of this chaos. We can make sense of this chaos when we actually look into the details of this. So notice this. See, let me show you how to look at hair. Okay, that's what all these sessions are about. I teach you how to look at things. Pay attention to this. I have drawn the outline. So far we have drawn this outline, right? This is what we've drawn. We've drawn the outline of this. Now, guys, we are looking at the first drawing. Look at your image here. Look at this here, and notice how I can break this down into smaller forms. Yes, all of you unmute yourself and respond. What do you say? Respond if you can see what I can see.
Yes, Dhananjay.
Yes. Yes.
Let me also put on how many people do we have? How many participants
Yes,
we have?
yes.
9 participants. Let me also turn on a classroom atmosphere. Yeah. Let me also turn on a classroom atmosphere here. Okay, so now the what is it? Okay. So you're not able to see the camera, right?
But we can't see the figure big. Niranjan.
Oh, when
Something
I load the immersive, you're not able to see this.
Yeah, it's sitting in one chair. Your image
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Oh, that is a problem with this. That's a problem with this. Even if I put this on spotlight, if I put immersive view, this is a problem with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it's useless. Okay. So look at this one. Notice how in this, I can divide this into smaller forms. It's obvious in this. That's
Yes.
particularly why I picked this example. It's very obvious in this. So let's first, I will show you and then let's redraw the same on the basic picture that we made. See, notice this, notice this, notice this, notice this. Now what I have got two things here. I have first been able to decipher the form. Second thing is I have been able to understand the flow of this. How is it that this hair is flowing? See, where is it stopping? I can also pay attention to where is the hair stopping. Sometimes not all hair might go all the way till end. For this particular example, it is going all the way till end. Sometimes certain hairstyles, the front hair might stop here. Then it might be another layer of hair that's linked. Then it might be linked. It might be something that's step cutting. So something like that. But I need to I need to make sense of these smaller forms. Okay. So let's redraw that on, let's redraw that on our thing here. Again, go back to your, let's go back to your reference and let's make sense of this. See this? See, just again, we are just repeating what we had previously done. This time we are adding in some more smaller details into this. See this? Break this down this way. What about straighter? They usually don't show. I'm sorry. Oh, see, it's through. See, once you understand. So after the end of the session, if you still have the end of after explain all the three here, if you still have questions, we'll clear it up. All right. In this example, I've shared there is. I think it's. I know there is one. Yeah. I will share with you practice at PDF. So in that you'll see more examples. See, I'm able to just divide them into smaller forms, basic forms. See this? I've been able to make sense of this. These divisions are so obvious. What is this? You block out these major forms. The next thing that you're going to pay attention to is pay attention to how the light falls onto this. The flow of light and shade onto this. What is a curious thing? You have on this drawing the light falling here. You have the light falling here. That means this entire portion in this drawing is lit. It's lit here. It is lit here. Yes. How about this portion? It's dark. All of these regions are dark. Notice the lighting here. All of these regions are dark. Notice the lighting here. See, it's the light that's falling and that's making these regions. These regions that are bent, they are dark. These are dark. These are dark. These are dark. So would it be possible for me to block out these regions of light and shade on this drawing as well? Let's try it out. Let's try blocking out the regions of light and shade in this. It cannot be that hard. So I'm drawing this light portion here, and then this is my shaded region. Let's suggest using pencils as well, just to indicate that these regions are shadowed. How about here? These regions are shadowed. How about this region here? See, it's lit and these are shadowed. Is at any stage, if anyone of you are having questions, kindly ask me and I'm ready to explain this to you all over again. Look at this one. Again, see, our work here is to pay attention to this light and shade here. Think of these as trial drawings and don't worry if you're not getting them perfectly. The important part is for you to understand. So don't worry about perfection. Don't worry. Don't be so afraid of drawing them. Just understand what's happening. Understand what's happening, and then of course you have plenty. You have an entire lifetime to learn in detail. See, most of these. So everywhere I look, each of this hair here, it comes out. So it comes out and it flows in. So most of the time what happens is this region that is lit has light and this region is shadowed. It's lit and these regions are shadowed. That's what happens. So let's block out. Let's block out most of these regions of shadows here. Okay. I will work on a small portion of the hair and I will show you how it can be done. Once I have understood this flow and this, the form and the shadow, then from here on, what I can do is I can start shading them out. I can start shading them out in a manner that, considering these as objects of light and shade, let's just shade them. At this stage, we can more or less start seeing the strands. Once we have blocked out the form, I can start drawing the strands. Yet we are not going to draw individual strands. As you're going to see, I am going to draw the smaller forms within this. Let me show you what I mean. Notice this. In this one, this is a major form we've blocked. Okay, here is a major form we've blocked. Yes, a major form we've blocked here. Within this, okay, unmute yourself at this point and respond with me. Respond. So, are you able to see this smaller form here? Are you able to see the smaller form? So just look at my screen and see if you're able to find it. Smaller form here within this larger.
Yes.
Yes. Within this larger form, again, are you able to see the smaller shape here?
Yeah.
Notice how we are getting into the details. smaller form here. Again, within this larger form, I'm able to see the smaller form here. See, we have blocked out this much details. And I can start shading them within these. Let's try it out. Let's try it out on order. So I have my drawing here and see, I have within the form, I have blocked out two smaller forms. Okay. So just notice and pay attention to where the smaller forms are. You can try the same example for all. So notice. Now that I have this ready, I'm just using a bolder pen. For this, I would recommend you use a bolder pen. I'm using a 0.5 pen in fact. You can use a bolder pen, 0.5, 0.3, something bold in fact. And let's start by blocking these out. So here I can use these bits of pens. Here I can use these flicks of pencil so that I'm able to get these. So when you notice where there is a certain peculiar thing about light and shade in a lighter portion, so in a portion that is lit, I mean, generally in hair, this alternate, you see these alternate places of light and shade, which follows a particular pattern. So what you notice in every hair, regardless of whatever it is, what you notice is hair is light around, hair is darkest around regions where it tends to gather. I'm using another example here. Notice hair is darkest around region where it gathers. See, everywhere I am able to see this pattern. Notice this. Notice this one here. Hair is gathering here. It is gathering here. It is dark here. Hair is spreading out here. It is light. Hair is gathering here. See, hair follows this pattern. It tends to gather, it tends to spread out. It tends to spread out, it tends to gather. It tends to spread out, it tends to gather. So it again, it tends to gather on the top, it tends to spread out. This is the general pattern that you see for the hair. Hair is dark around regions where it gathers. Hair is light around regions where it spreads out. Hair is dark around regions where it starts from because hair is gathering there. Hair is mostly dark around regions where it ends. Why? Because it gathers there as well. Do you understand? The reason this happens is when we draw hair, we are not just drawing a single solid form. We are drawing a group of forms. So what happens within a hair is within this form that we have blocked out, there are these smaller forms. When light hits on them, shadows from this tends to fall on this. Shadows, a lot of cast shadows are formed. And there are several regions where light does not reach. So as a result of both of these, it tends to be dark around here and here as well. See, hair tends to gather, very less light can fall. Where it spreads out, lot of light can hit. So it's spread around here and it's dark around here. It's spread around here and it's dark around here. Understand? This is a general pattern. When we draw the hair strands, of course, we're not going to break it down so much. We will draw them as continuous strands. Let's see how we are going to manage. Okay, so are you able to understand? It's easy and it's fun. See, now I'm able to better look at the hair strands and draw. I'll be able to draw them without getting lost. Why? Because I have a pattern to follow. Let's try this out. See this? I start off with the darkest regions. I start off with the darkest regions. So one particular problem that can happen when you draw like this is you can tend to create breaks here. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to not be so rash and abrupt, but rather we can be a little bit more smooth with our approach here so that we can take it forward from here as well. When you draw these like this, what happens is when you tend to curve it too much, let's say here I'm curving it too much. Then when I take it from here, it will tend to break. But rather, when I draw this, even when I draw this, if I am not unnecessarily curving it, you understand? Even when I draw this at these ends, I'm making these flicks with pens. But towards these ends, I am not unnecessarily curving it. I'm not unnecessarily curling it like this. I know where the hair needs to stop, and I'm just stopping at that. Then I would be better be able to continue from where I left off. Let's try this. Just work on the darkest regions, and you'll be able to get a base of this form. Work on the darkest regions here. Just as we had plotted, we are drawing the light and shadow here. The shadow here is dark. The shadow here is dark. Shadow here is dark here. See this? Let's not venture too far, and we'll restrict what we are doing to the small region. So have you been able to draw so far?
Niranjan,
Yes.
one question. So we can draw upward or downward stroke. It's okay.
It's okay. It's okay. You can draw downward. See, if you can, what you say, it's about mostly what I do is I look for a source region. Since it's hard for me to take it out from a wide region to a closer region, it's easy for me to flick it out. Pratya. Very good question, very valid question you raised. It's easier for me to flick the hair out and spread it out rather than having it come in. So I follow this method. I look for a place from where it starts. For example, in this hairline here, it starts from here, of course. But considering this as well, this can also be considered a source point because I can equally spread it outwards from here as well. Understand, Pratya? I can, if I take this form here, I can consider this to be a source point because why? Because there is another layer of hair covering here and I don't know what's going to happen beyond this. So why not take this as a source point and take it out? See?
Okay.
And now you can keep adding depth to the flicks wherever necessary, leaving these lighter areas light as it is, and you notice the hair slowly coming together. It's like magic. See? Just work on these. Now I can work on these individual flicks. But when I work on these individual flicks, I am still paying attention to this entire pattern that's created. See? Let's not stop at this. So I will show you some more. Let's work on these regions here as well. Let's work on these regions as well. See, notice it's easy for me to flick it out. But I need to make sure that I am still able to take a certain continuity out. This is like Hagrid's hair we did. Yes. But it's going to be more in depth. But make sure that you're able to establish a continuity between this and that. Try the drawing again, Tanvi. Try the drawing of Hagrid again now.
Okay, Niranjan, here we
Yes.
have to be very careful about the continuation of the lines, no?
Yeah, see what happens is, most often when you draw like this, it's since there are so many flicks, Rosina, it's it isn't what you say practical to say that every stroke we have to maintain the continuation. But overall, since we draw these patterns, since we have the shape here, just follow this general guideline. What should not happen is, so in a form, in a hair form, so I'm drawing a form of hair like this. I'm not talking about a strand, I'm talking about a block of hair. Okay, you understand when I say block of hair? On a block of hair, I want to draw this since I have this basic form ready, and I am also laying the basic pencil guideline. Until now, you're clear, right?
Yeah.
Since I have this ready, I just need to follow this. See, I'll show you. What is allowed is I can go this way. So you can just follow along this block, work on the dark region and flick it out to the light region.
Yeah.
Regarding Pratya, I had asked a question earlier. So it's hard for me to take from a lighter region and flick it to darker region. So I again work from the next darker region I find and again work it outwards towards the lighter region. It's easier to flick that way, right? I mean, it's not possible to flick from light to dark area. It won't come. You can't flick that way.
Okay.
So you focus on concentrate on the darker regions that you find and just flick it out. So see, now I am not paying attention to each of these individual strokes if they are actually connecting or not. But it does seem connected, doesn't it?
Okay.
But on the other hand, what is not allowed, let me show on this side as well. What is not allowed is within this, you're just placing strokes, ignoring the guideline.
Yeah.
This is not allowed. See, then it no longer seems like it looks like some horrible, I don't know.
Yeah.
See, that is not allowed. This, no matter how rough the hair is, it will still have some pattern. It's up to you to decipher that pattern and draw it. For rougher hair, maybe the patterns are much more harder to decipher. So it requires more intricacy. That's it. Okay. Concentrate on the darker areas and flick it out. It's very easy. So again, so when I work on this one again, this region again, I can take from the darker region, flick it outwards. Again, from this darker region, I can flick it outwards. Again, from this darkest region, I can flick it outwards. Again, from this darkest region, I can flick it outwards. You see that? But let's not end at this. Let's add some more depth. See? Again, if you notice, there are some regions which are extra dark. So let's again add some more flicks onto these extra darker regions. See? Just in between some strands, I can work. They're extra dark. See this? Just keep on adding that. Yet, it's my duty to follow the general guideline which I had started off in the beginning. Get it? See? Now how about this one? See? Work on this. And it starts slowly, slowly. As you keep building this way, you can keep building depth and it will start looking like a realistic set of hair without even imprinting. And eventually I can pay attention. So now I'm going more and more finer. Eventually I can pay attention to the finer details. So my friends, that's how we draw hair. So we can go back to Rosina, now we can go back to your Shakira and try drawing the hair again. Let's not end with this. We can take a finer pen. 0.1 pen or a 0.005 pen. And if you notice, there are these finer strands. So now I can pay attention to the finer strands. At the end is when I draw, when I pay in the finer strands, I draw the sum of the strands that might come outwards. If necessary, I can do that. I can pay attention to these strands that comes here. Slowly keep adding that. But make sure that you don't overwhelm it so much that you're completely obstructing the light and shade. It's not a perfect light and shade per se. In between, you draw these darker strokes because, as I told you, that is the nature of that. Like a lot of shadows occur in between them, and that's why you see these beautiful patterns of light and shade on this. Overall, make a cohesive form. You don't want to show a lot of breaks. Keep this requires patience. You have to keep adding depth and depth into the hair until you're able to get a hold. And then see, blend out from the darker regions. You keep blending it outwards. Again, from this region, you can keep blending it outwards. So blend it both ways. Get it? So let me know if you have been able to understand so far, and if you'll be able to complete this hair as we go. See, the more care we put it, the more neat it will appear, the more detailed it will look. You can particularly pay attention. So it's simple. The process is very simple. You understand the form, you break it down into smaller and smaller forms, and you work from the darker regions. You work on the darkest regions, start by adding these flicks, and then progressively use lighter pens and flick outwards. We draw the strands. After drawing the major forms, we draw the strands, but we work on the dark region. We focus, we pay our entire attention, we concentrate our forces on the darkest region, and we push it outwards. Okay, concentrate on the dark regions and push it outwards. So shall we move on to the next one here? The next form?
Yes.
Yes. The next hair that we have is the wavy hair. So similar approach. Hold on. Okay, so notice this. Notice the pattern here. See? Notice the wavy hair. Same thing. Notice the smaller waves in this. Just as we drew the smaller forms in this, here as well, I can notice smaller forms in its own unique way. And then you concentrate on the darker regions, and then you push your strokes out as you have done previously. Okay. Concentrate on the darker regions and push it outwards. Let's try it out. Let's try that out on a drawing. See, are you able to understand? Are you able to decipher the waves within this? Guys, unmute and tell me.
Yes, Niranjan.
Yes. How about
Yes,
Vijita?
Yeah.
Yes, Niranjan.
Okay. See, the smaller. So you might not be able to decipher the smaller forms this way, but start by the most obvious that you can find. The most obvious. When you're first practicing, practice these perfectly combed models, and then you can get into more regular people because it might not be, I mean, it's very easy to study these. So start with the most obvious of the forms, and then you can slowly get into this.
Today I've drawn a lot of hair, Niranjan. For my portrait challenge also, I did Angelina Jolie, and she had long hair.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. Nice. How are you completing a portrait today? It is a miracle.
With pencil, I can do fast, Niranjan.
Amazing. And are you able to get the outline sketch fast now? That's what I want to know.
Little better
The better.
than before, yeah.
Is this program helping you?
Yeah, Niranjan. Actually, the contouring only I have to, like it takes a long time if I have to do it with the pen.
Yes, yes, yes. I
My
mean, it's
hand starts paining, like I can't finish this thing and all. I have to do little by little if I have to do pen.
pen takes time. It's that
Yeah,
kind of a medium. Pencil is see. With pencil, even I could
pencil
draw very quickly.
fast, yeah.
Pencil is a faster medium. That's the difference between a hard medium
You
and a soft
can
medium.
fill the page faster.
Yes.
I
That's
do,
the main difference.
yeah, A4 size I do.
So all these hard mediums, all these softer mediums are very easy. With charcoal, you'll be able to draw much faster than with graphite.
Once you finish the eyes and the mouth, that will be the difficult part, and the rest you can
Yes, yes, yes.
fast.
Very right.
Yeah. It has to sit in the right place. If you get the drawing right, then it becomes like coloring only.
So now that I have this, let's concentrate again on this darkest region here. And see, when you draw this, pay attention not to give it an additional, not to give it curve more than necessary. So, like I told you, for a form that goes this way, you are not going to curve it more than necessary. You understand? You understand by what I meant by not curving it more than necessary, because then when you take this there, you'll see this break. So rather keep it following along what you started. And then so you'll be able to effortlessly connect and create these. Especially with pen, don't get overexcited and create these breaks.
Niranjan, have you tried using white ink pen in between these black
You
strokes?
can do that. You can do that. You can do that, but the problem with white ink pen is I have only very bold white ink pen.
White. Have you tried? No, I haven't tried.
I don't use it. I personally don't use it. I use it only when I have to add gray hair. So when I have to draw an older person and some hair is very great,
Okay.
that's when I use it. But
Okay.
otherwise I prefer to just work with black ink because see, white ink is very bold pen. My
Yeah.
strokes are all very fine and refined.
Mm.
In fact, when I draw hair, on top of this I also cross hatch. You can cross hatch on hair as well.
Okay.
I was
Same
going
thing.
to ask you the same thing.
Same
Can
thing.
we
How can
cross hatch the hair?
I will show you in this example. I will show you how to cross hatch in hair. I will show you. I didn't want to introduce so much in the very first drawing that we did. In this one, I will show you how to cross hatch it. Okay, so how to go about with this is see. Now you have been able to understand how to work on this basic principle behind hair, right? Now you have been able to understand how to work on this. Similarly, we use cross hatching when we have to add a lot of shadows, when you have to make some of the tones very deep. So that's where the cross hatching, the whole part of cross hatching comes into play. Yes, you can cross hatch for hair as well. Where do you cross hatch for hair? On the regions that are very, very dark. For instance, this part, this particular part, for example, has a lot of dark regions here. And this darkness is formed due to intense shadows. Intense shadows. So I can first make these basic strokes. I can keep adding depth by adding the, see what is the basic principles behind hatching that we learned. We keep putting the strokes together. We increase the density of the strokes to make it darker. Isn't that the case? That is exactly what we did in the previous case. We just increase the density of the strokes. If you're not happy with this, you can cross here and you'll be getting more density. See? And it will not affect your hairstyle. It
Looks
will not
better.
affect it.
It's faster.
Yes, it's faster and it looks better.
Better, yes.
It looks better and it's faster. See? And then of course, we follow the same similar principle. I am going to use a lighter pen and I'm going to push it out. See? You work with the combination of pens. So the way that I always like to work is I work with the mid-tone and then I work on the darker regions following that, and then I work on the lighter regions. It's a combination. You have to keep alternating between pens. I start off with this strands. Now notice what I'm doing here. I've crossed that. See? It looks very fine. It looks very fine and refined. But make sure that you don't do this everywhere. You do this sparingly on the regions that you see are very dark. It will look, your hair will look very much refined in this sense. It will look very fine and refined. Try it out. It's worth the attempt. So when you do this, what you are going to have to do is you're going to have to keep these strokes very almost parallel to each other. You can see. You know the basic principle behind cross hatching. You have to rotate. You have to make it as if you're rotating your strokes. You're reinforcing the direction. When you do this one, you can cross as if you are. See, you can cross like this. This is the basic cross hatching that we learned in the initial days. But we can also almost keep it parallel and we can cross. See, this is what we are doing. There is difference between both of these. This is what we are mostly going to be working with because it will add a very, very fine, refined texture to your drawing. See, and then of course, from these darker regions, I can push it out. Here, I'm just adding on the light region, I'm just adding a single layer. And again, see, I'm going to the darker region and I'm marker. So cross hatching you can apply anywhere you see shadows. That's the conclusion. Anywhere you see shadows, you can cross hatch. See, here I'm just leaving it light and I'm doing this. So here again. But pay attention. I mean, be careful when you do this. You don't want to over implemented to the point that you lose the more important thing other than cross hatching is being able to get the form of the hair. I'm perfectly able to capture this wave here. Let's try this. And once I have this, I can, of course, add more depth. So the pen that I've used is 0003, 02, and 05. And after this, I can use lighter pens and I can work on these smaller individual strands. See this? I can work and I can create these smaller individual strands. Time consuming, but the more time you invest into this, the better this will look. So by the way, I was telling you about how I used to do these sketches in Dynasty. I stopped it. Now I no longer sit at flats and I no longer do these 20, 15, 20-minute sketches. Can anyone tell me the reason? Anyone?
Because now you want to work more on each portrait, make it more realistic.
Yes, yes, yes. See, there's only so much I can do in 15, 20 minutes. So now I'm all about adding in the details. I'm all excited about adding details. So, I mean, if I do that, I know I will not be long back, long before Sansari came. I'm more interested on adding in slowly working and adding in intense depth to each portrait. So just these small sketches, it no longer speaks of. Yes, I can work on this step here. That's a very good answer, Tanvi, by the way. But when you cross hatch, kindly make sure that you're not losing the waves around the thing. You're not losing the waves. So as for these strokes are concerned, let's say you're putting a cross like this, and then when you cross as well, you're supposed to bring out the wave. So see, this wave goes this way. When you cross as well, you're supposed to bring out this wave. Understand? What happens a lot of times when you cross, we just tend to cross like this and we tend to cut the form. That is not allowed. It's difficult. It is difficult. That makes it worth it. So like that, we can slowly build depth and we can work on the wavy hair. So are we clear with this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Niranjan.
Yes, Niranjan.
So take your time and you can slowly, like the more details you add, same principle, different approach. The third and the final one we are left with is the curly hair. So let's get into the curly hair right away. See, as for the curly hair is concerned, it's slightly more complex. I mean, of all the three hairs, the most complex, but don't worry. It isn't that hard. So, what you're going to do for this curly hair is just need to spend a little more time into understanding how these forms go. Need to spend a little more time into understanding how these curls go. So for example, for this one here, we've drawn the outline. So we all drawn this outline here. The next thing is we pay attention to each of these individual curves and we draw them. This requires more finer attention to details. Yes, you are going to have to draw each of the individual curves as you go. You're going to have to identify the forms within this. It is a time-consuming process. So it's like think of it as a more complex wave. See, some forms, some curls are like this. 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 You just need to pay attention and work on these smaller curls. And then the thing about curly hair is there mostly would be lots of shadowed regions because these curls, they create lots of shadows. Let's try it out. Even in this mess, we can make sense. Only if we paid attention.
Then we can draw Jon Snow.
What? Sorry?
Then we can draw Jon Snow.
Yes, why not? You can draw anyone. Have the confidence. See this? I'm selecting a small portion out of which I'm drawing. See? It just takes some care and some time to understanding, to being able to understand and break down this form. But once you break down, the same thing for braided hair. Everything you draw is the same principle, derivatives. And then regarding the strokes, you work on each of these individual arcs, each of these individual curls, following the same pattern. You work from the dark regions and slowly blend outwards. The more time you spend, first work on the darkest regions, slowly keep blending outwards until you work on the finest regions. And then again work on the shadows using your boldest pen. So you work with the midtones, create lighter and lighter effects, and then finally add the shadows. That's the final touch that you're going to have. You're drawing. Get it? So let's try drawing this out using your ink in these outlines. See, now it no longer look cartoony. So even when I draw these outlines, so I'll be working from the dark regions and I'll slowly be pushing my strokes outwards. Okay, so we have done, we have this so far. Now let's try adding some depth into this. Yes, are you with me? Which one of these three has you find you enjoy the most? Is it the straight? Is it the wavy? Is it the curly? Which one are you enjoying the most? Which one do you find the most toughest? Hmm? I'm asking all of you.
The one before was interesting. The curly one is tough.
Curly one is tough, no? The combed hair. The combed hair is the easiest, or the combed hair is the most fun or the most complicated? Curly hair takes some time to understand. You'll have to what to say. It's very interesting. It's like drawing these springs. It looks
We
very
need so
slick.
much patience for this.
Oh yes, lots. So much is an understatement. So let's see.
Niranjan, in this, the ear can be barely seen, so that we ignore, right, when we draw the
Yeah.
portraits.
See, if you notice slightly little bit of this slight suggestion of the ear can be seen. Slight suggestion we can see it here. That's
But
okay. You can completely ignore it.
Yeah.
Completely you can ignore it. You can just cover it up with the hair. In fact, I would tell you to ignore a lot of these small things which doesn't contribute much to the portrait. So when you draw a portrait, pay attention to what contributes to most of the face. For every face, there are certain particular features which really contributes. For some people, it's their eyes. For some people, it's hair. For some people, I don't know, something or the other really contributes. Some people, it's the shape of their jaw. Pay particular close attention to that. And that is what a lot of caricature artists do. When they draw a portrait in 2 minutes, caricature artists will do that and make them exactly like you. They pay attention to the most important features of the face and exaggerate it beyond proportion. So once that happens, you, what you say, we get that thing. See, just keep working on these individual strands this way. It's very difficult to understand the light and shade pattern here because of this, but keep working from both sides. You can keep working and add some depth here. So this has some light and shade. Let's try this. See, understand where hair strands arise. Hair strands arise from here. So let's do some here. Hair strands arise from here. So let's do something from here. Hair strands arise from here. So let's do something here. Mostly the same pattern. I need to pay attention to where my strands are arising and then start from there. See that? And then here, as I come here again, hair is gathering. So let's work on this. Since these are all curved, pay attention to getting the curve correct, the curve correct. See? I am adding more depth here. You keep working on this. It's fun. I enjoy drawing curly hair the most. It's not the easiest, but I enjoy drawing it the most. See, if you want, if you are confident, you can even apply cross-hatching on this. I mean, even getting this form correct is a task in itself. But if you are ready, why not? Here as well, I can keep working this. So for each of these strands, there exists a major source. See, as for this one, this is the source. And then you concentrate around that source. You work on, and then you focus and pay more attention to the regions of shadows and you keep building up. If you can shade out most of the shadowed regions, then you've made great progress. Mostly concentrate on these shadowed regions, just blocking out these regions that are shadowed. And within good range. Wherever possible, I can add a helping, I can add a touch of cross-hatching. Wherever the need to understand that about curly hair, the curls are not equal everywhere. Some regions are more curls than others. So where the curls are a little less intense, where it looks more like a wave, I can do this. So like that. And keep on adding depth. And there are some regions that are very, very dark. So how do we work on this? Let me start by curling. And of course, if I keep adding depth, it will look, if I keep working this way, it can look correctly planned. So I can cross hatch. I can cross hatch from this end as well. We can create depth. Or if you find this too complex, I'll tell you the easiest method. Just use a bolder pen and just blacken this out. See? You'll still be able to notice different patterns. Don't just shade blandly. So, like, I don't want anyone of you to just shade blandly like this. Don't get impatient and just shade blandly. Still draw them as forms. Even if you're completely blackening out, still draw them as forms. See? It still look good. We use a similar approach for drawing the beard as well. Same approach, just that for the moosh and beard, it's a different structure. So for the moosh, it comes out this way. We can add cross-hatching on this as well. One of our core community practice sessions, we can have a particular session dedicated to drawing a mustache, and it's going to be fun. Try drawing different mustaches. It's the same approach. So just draw this hair and I can cross hatch. Or I can just hatch and I can create this effect. Again, pay attention to how the forms go and just keep working on this. Pay attention to how these forms go and you can keep doing it. Keep drawing. Yes. Same thing. Is drawing the beard any different? No, it is not. Same approach. Same approach as the hair. We just need to decipher how the form of the beard is. So let's try. Let's make some suggested beard as well. Is it curly? Is it wavy? And once we have understood how the form goes, draw them. And then you can flick these strokes outwards so as to create the suggestion of hair here, or you can just start them from here. The finer pens you use, the finer your hair strands will be. Here I'm just using a bolder pen because it's the easiest. Using bolder pens is the easiest. The most obvious approach. See? Same approach. Eyebrows are also follow the same approach. Yes. Just pay attention to how the strands go and then follow them around. See that? So take a closer photo of an eyebrow and try drawing them. It's not that hard. Once you understand this, it's not that hard. It's just a little tricky. Just requires a little more patience to draw this. We should be able to get it. You can, once you have this thing, you can work on this ends. It's like drawing the fur texture. You can texturize these ends. You can keep texturizing these ends. Draw out these lines that goes this way. In that, except these ends, and you can draw it out this way. Yes. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how much did you enjoy the session? 10. 10. Tanvi gave me a perfect 10. Oh, Simran's here as well. Hey, Simran, did you try drawing? Did you try drawing? Hmm? Yes, so you have all been able to get. Now you may ask your questions. You may ask. Yes, that is fun. So this might remind you of one of the drawings, like one of the very famous characters in Harry Potter. You all know whom we are talking about. Sirius Black. You can go back to him and you can try that. If you have all those PDFs remaining, you can again, like you can go back and.
Yeah, I did for Luna Lovebird. No?
Yes. You did Luna Lovebird. So I mean, the next all that's remaining is the Bellatrix. Yes. The next all that's remaining is the skin tones.
Yeah.
The next all that's remaining is the skin tones. And then we have a week for practice. So I remember at the beginning of the session, I said that I would be giving you a week off to practice. Now the important thing here is that I had to take a week off. I was forced to take a week off due to an unexpected eye operation. Now, because of that, we are not going to be having a break for the next week as well. We are going to be having continuous sessions Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday as well. We are going to be having a continuous practice session. Followed by that, there is going to be what you say? Yeah, Saturday, Sunday, and Tuesday. That's it. I mean, it's going to be 3 more sessions. One session we're going to have for the skin tone, and 2 sessions we're going to be doing just the practices. We are going to be practicing drawing the 3 portraits that we started with. Okay. So we'll see how long. Like these practice sessions will be extended. And we can also have special lo-fi practice nights where you can join in and you can draw as well. So we can do all of that.
Thank you, Niranjan. I need to go now.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. I mean, now if you have further questions, you may ask. And we had asked a question. Pratia wanted to ask a question. If you wish to receive feedback for your work, you may share. Let's see. As far as the hair is concerned, yeah. As far as the hair is concerned, see, remember I can feel a break here. So just as much as you smoothen it this way, you can smoothen it this way as well. Understand, Tanvi? You smoothened it upwards. Why don't you can smoothen it downwards as well? So you created a smoother surface here. So why not do that here as well? So it's just two things that I want to talk about here is the flow. The flow. And also keeping up like within each of these forms, you're going to be able to maintain this strand. This seems like the hair is cut from here. See, since this is very long, it's not possible for us to draw one continuous smooth line. Ideally, you should be able to draw a smooth line throughout, but it's not possible. It's unrealistic. So we have to take breaks. But when we take breaks, just as we had learned for drawing the textures, you keep your strokes, you make your strokes in such a way that you don't make it seem like you took those breaks, you took those line breaks. So you avoid those line breaks as much as possible by paying more attention to the edges, by paying more attention to how you blend it out. Fortunately for us, there are these certain regions of light and shade. So with respect to that, we can just keep working on the darker regions, we can keep pushing it outwards. We can keep pushing it outwards, keep pushing it inwards. And don't try to work from light to dark, work from dark to light. Same things. You notice that even for these lighter regions, I can notice certain rough strands that are out. This is perfectly combed hair. So you don't pay attention. You pay as much care as possible into getting that smoothness. For more hair that is more, you wanted to say something, you can see like if you wish to ask something, tiny unmute them.
No, I only felt that the shine is not coming because of the break in strokes.
That's the smoothness you're talking about. Similarly, the next level to drawing hair is you will be able to identify blonde hair, you'll be able to identify dark hair, you'll be able to identify afro hair, all of this, red hair. It is all possible using pens. All of that is possible using pens. For now, just pay attention to the form and the smoothness. Avoid breaks as much as possible. And yeah. So I would have to say, yeah, this is also not, this you're done a much better work at. You've been able to get a much better. It's easier because why? That is your first and this is your second attempt. This looks very good, in fact. Very good, in fact. Very good, in fact. Lovely. And also, I see great improvement in your base sketch. Great improvement in your base sketch. See? Notice, this is very good for a base sketch. So very good work on this as well. Similarly for this hair, see, this is again more challenging. And also for this mustache, when you draw, you don't have to draw these perfectly straight lines per se. You can edges, you can slightly curve, you can slightly, like make it little rough. So how you go about with this is, when you draw this one, so when you draw mustache, for instance, if you draw these perfectly straight thing, it looks too rigid. Rather, just as I had told you to draw eyelashes, I told you not to draw like this because it looks like a cockroach. How did we do? See, this more or less depicts an eyelash. Varied heights, varied angles. And how did we learn to draw for texture? Did we draw like this? Or did I tell you to intentionally bring in a little bit of chaos, controlled chaos? Get it? Same principle of reference. This is fur. This is fur. So like you can actually pay more attention to this and you can just doing slide suggestions like this. This makes it more like a mustache. Like that. So be quick. When you do this, be quick. Don't think too much. Just
Thank you.
Welcome. Let's look some more. Yeah. See, notice Pratya for this one. So you're not able to decipher the form. You're not able to decipher the form. So it kind of seems a little rigid here. You get it? It's the same thing. So the feedback that I said to Tanvi, it's the same thing that I'll be able to notice different parallels. So let me look at a lot of these results here. Okay. So Rosina has shared. Pratya and Tanvi has shared. Okay, so now look at this one. Let's do a comparative study of all your drawings here. So for Tanvi's drawing, the straight hair we did, then the wavy hair was much more easier approachable. As far as the curly hair is concerned, it's a little more challenging. But the problem here is you are not being able to capture the light here. So you have done a lot of the dark regions, but you got so involved into this, I'm not able to see any light here. Probably after completing this, I should be able to see more light on these curls. So each of these curls, each of these logs here, it has light falling on them. It has light falling on, because of that, I will be able to see them more. You need to pay attention to that as well. And for Rosina's drawing, from what I saw, it's extremely beautiful. Very good work on the straight hair. What is missing here is the blending. It seems very abrupt. I can literally mark out light, medium, dark. What you need to do is you need to work on the darker regions and push them out. Why? So that it blends in better. Blending is missing, but very good work. Overall, it's very aesthetic. See, the form is very fluid, very aesthetic. You need to blend in, you need to work and then blend out. Same thing I noticed everywhere. So
Thank you.
this is much better done. Much better done. Even here, notice dark, light. Why don't we blend it out? Get it? So just as you use 3 different pens. For darker region, use 1 pen. For mid region, for lighter region, use another pen. For mid region, use another pen, and then blend out the darker region to the mid regions. And as far as Pratya's drawings are concerned, the wavy hair you have come over here. See, Pratya is very good at blending. But what's missing in Pratya's drawing is a lack of coherence in form. Get it? Lack of coherence in form. So you have blended this very well. Notice, Rosina, Pratya has blended this very well. But the thing is that the form is kind of seems to be a little bit broken here. The overall coherence in form. That's the same thing that I noticed, especially with the drawing of your curly hair.
Yeah, my curly hair are very
Right.
messy and broken.
If I am working on a drawing, I'll be working on individual curls. Like for example, really, if you want to get the best results, we don't draw like this. I'm drawing at this pace so that we can progress with the session. Otherwise, for this entire session, we'll only be doing one type of hair. So, see, if I'm working at this pace, why wouldn't I be able to get it? Get it? I'm now able to get the coherence. So Pratya, in all of your drawing, the blending is very cool, but the coherence is missing. It's the same thing. Form, light and shadow, and then the coherence in form. So pay attention to these 3 things and you should be able to draw lots of good hair. All right. Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. I didn't notice Vijita's drawing. Where did you share it, Vijita? I can't see it.
It's there in the group. It's before Pratya's last one. I think it's not downloaded.
Can't even see it. Oh, new more images came. Wait. See, Rosina was able to capture the shine area. It's because of the highlights. Understand? It's not there. Am I missing something? Why did you share again, Vijita? Yes, see the wavy hair has been done very well. Again, here the thing is the lack of coherence in form. Notice when you cross it, I can see breaks.
Yeah.
Right. When you
Yeah.
cross it, I can see breaks. So for the straight hair also, you have not done the curly hair. Right? For the straight hair also, you have to give more time into it and work on the darker regions. If you want to work fast, then just focus on the darkest regions. Just focus on the darkest regions and leave the rest. Just focus on the darkest regions and leave the rest. So, I mean, what you say. So you just need to spend more time into it and pay more attention to the coherence. Like I had shown right now, work at a slower pace. Work at a slower pace and pay more attention because hair requires time. Hair requires, you'll have to individually work out the strands. After getting the form, you'll have to individually work on the strands, and that's the way that we can get it. All right. So that's about it. And thank you so much. And we'll meet again next week. Saturday, next week we are having sessions. All right. Saturday, Sunday, same time. Okay. I'll also be welcome. Do upload your works. Do upload your work. I'm really looking forward to it. Yeah, this practice. Take care. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.